Hello and welcome to an all-new episode of Men and Women Talk, the Mars Venus Show. I am one of your hosts, Kente, all the way live from Los Angeles, California, and this is episode number 157. I am joined by my wonderful co-host, Shannon. How you doing, Shannon?
I'm good. How come I don't see the red button, my friend?
I see it, and it's showing that we're recording,
All right.
so we're good to go. We're good to go.
I must have had to upload my screen a little bit. Okay. I'm here for it.
So just to let people know that next week we will not be on due to it being Memorial Day. So it is what it is. And I think isn't today the Canadian holiday?
It's Victorian Day.
Victoria Day, right. It's it's Queen Victoria Day, right? So shout out to all the Canadians out there. We have a Canadian in our audience, Natasha.
Whoop,
Um,
whoop, whoop.
so shout out to her. And I know she's been celebrating it Victoria
And
Day.
it's a day off.
Right. So kudos to everybody who's having a enjoying their holiday today. Now next week is going to be our holiday. I'm actually going away for the weekend to visit my brother up in Victorville, California. So that should be interesting. I haven't really done anything like that in a while, so it's going to be interesting. So I'm going to get a hotel though. So I don't know. Is anybody in our audience, have they been in a hotel since COVID popped off? If you have, just to let me know what that's been like. Oh, I see Luke just came into the chat room and he's Canadian as well. So
Okay. Question. Because Queen Victoria was born on May 24th. And so is it because we're doing it on the 18th, Natasha? Because next week, the 24th will fall on a Sunday. And so it's not going to be on the 25th because that's the other alternative day. But of course, that's Memorial Day for us. So is that why it's this week instead of her birthday?
it's some Monday in May.
Around the 24th, Lucas. I'm going to need you to know your queen's birthday.
I think that's probably what it is. We'll find out though. So somebody up in here is gonna know. All right. So today's topic is they're just not into you. Now we've kind of talked about this similarly in episodes before, but there's a reason why I want to talk about this because it's due to a conversation I had with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and it was very interesting and insightful. And I thought, you know what, let me kind of do that again. We celebrate Queen Victoria's birthday. No, the third Monday of May, so that's why. Okay, cool. All right, so this topic is going. I guess maybe I'll get into what he told me, but not right now. Um, I want to talk about it from different angles, right? They're not just into you, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's different reasons why this is, where you can come to this deduction. Sometimes people will get involved with people because something to do, right? You'll have it where sometimes people, instead of being alone, they rather be with somebody, and you're showing interest in me, so I'll hang around, see what happens, right?
Okay.
Then you have a situation where you try and you try and you try with someone, and maybe they're not being very definitive about their lack of desire of you, right? So therefore they're like, well, let me keep going because eventually the wear down method will work, right?
There's hoping, I suppose.
There's definitely hoping. Like I'll tell you a story about a guy. I used to work with this dude many years ago, and he had the biggest crush on a coworker.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those situations where she walked, like we all worked at this place. The day she walked in, dude was like, "That's my woman right there." Like, you know what I mean? Like he claimed her right off the rip. right? And you know, we just like, okay, she was very pretty and all that, but he just got liked her, right? I almost said his name. Right. And he tried and she wouldn't bite, right? She wouldn't bite, but he did not give up, this guy, right? What's up, Nazim? He would not give up. And they got into this weird place where he would do things for her, right?
Mhm.
And like, I'm talking about, when I say do things for her, I'm talking about like, it's 3 a.m. Her car stopped. This fool she would call him. He'd get out of his bed and go and fix her car and make sure she's good. She had a child, right? A little daughter. He would babysit the daughter while she would go on dates with other guys, right?
Okay.
Like, this guy he just wanted her badly, and he was doing anything to be next to her. He would take her out to dinners and all of this kind of stuff, right? Oh yeah, he was sprung and didn't get none, right? And he had to watch while other of his coworkers had little flings with her, right?
Okay.
But he remained undeterred. So so this guy, I almost said his name. I keep almost saying his name. If he ever seen it, I don't, he'll know it's him, but anyway. So dude, we'll say dude. He actually this guy actually he was so enamored with this girl that they were gonna fire her. I'm sorry, they were gonna fire her because she had went on vacation, right? And I had went on vacation too, and they were gonna fire the both of us. And when he found that out, he had went to the company. Their offices were in Boston, and he said, "You can't fire somebody when they're on a vacation and they're about to F her over and all of this stuff." And that's how I didn't get fired. It wasn't because he was looking out for me. It just so happened that we were both on vacation at the same time. So he really cared about her, and he really wanted to be with her, and she just wasn't biting, right? So he finally ended up getting in a relationship. What's up, Taylor? What's cracking, man? So he gets up in a relationship, right, with this girl, really good girl, right, who really liked him, right? And then all of a sudden, he wasn't as available as he once was. You couldn't call him at 3 a.m., right? And she actually had, she started getting mad, right? Because he didn't have the time, whatever. So she ended up telling him one night, I want to be with you, but now you're in a relationship. So he ended up breaking off with the girl to be with her. And that thing lasted like a week. No, this doesn't feel right. Right? It doesn't feel right. So they broke up, right? Now he never was mad at her. He always liked her, right? So, I stopped. It was a Mexican dude, right? So, and she was Mexican as well. So, I stopped working there. This was years, a long ass time ago, over 20 years, right? And I ended up with Facebook. I ended up running into a guy that I used to work with. That me and him was really tight, right, on Facebook. So then me and him started talking, right? Because it's been years since we worked together. We used to hang out, do all kind of crazy stuff together. When we were young. And as we're having this conversation, I said, "Whatever happened to dude?" I won't say his name. And he goes, "Oh, he's doing good. We still keep in contact." I was like, "Oh, that's great." Yeah, I was like, "What's he up to?" He's like, "Oh, he's married. He got a couple of kids." Guess who he's married to? The girl.
That did him dirty.
They, like 5 years later, they hooked up and they got married, and they've been married ever since. And it's hilarious because when you look at, I had to see this because he's like, oh, he's on Facebook. So I pulled
Yeah.
up his Facebook, and it's so funny because all the pictures of them together, he has this proud like smile on his face, like, yeah, it's me, my family, my wife. And she all of her pictures are always like, like just like, yeah, this is
He's very self-absorbed.
doesn't look like, I mean, from the pictures, it looks like he got what he wanted, and I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was just the days that she took the pictures, it just happened that every time she looked like she was just there, But this guy, I keep saying want to say his name, but I'm not gonna do that. We'll say D. But I talked to him very briefly, and he was happy, and he's happy in his situation. And I'm like, wow, y'all got together. That's great. But yeah, I just thought that was crazy. So I mean, can you make the argument in his case? She wasn't into him. It was clear she wasn't into him, right? She just wasn't into him. But I guess he used the wear down method, and eventually he got what he always wanted. The day he saw her, I was there. The day he saw her, he said, that's going to be my woman. And that's his wife right now. So was that a win for him?
I mean, he kept the faith. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, could someone's desire for you, I wonder how she treats him. See, that's what I really want to know too, right? What's going on there? Can someone's desire for you flip you? Nazim says it worked. I mean, because I'm guessing that's what it was, is like you can desire, but it helps if he has money. I think he has like a nice job, he's not balling, but I think he can, from what it seems like he can, they have a nice house or whatever. D says, I have a classmate that claimed a girl our sophomore year, but she didn't give him the time for 4 years after graduation, and she finally decided to date him, and now they've been married for 14 years.
Wow.
So that's the thing too, though. Like, the thing is, like, I don't know how you get past that. Hey, what's up, Danny? In your head, even if you get her, you waited, he waited probably about 7 years before she started effing with him. For real. Like, after you got her, like, that's gotta go in your head, right? Like, she didn't even give me the time of day. It took like 7 years for this girl to give me the time of day.
Yeah. So
anyway, I don't know. To me, that's just crazy. But sometimes people, they just not into you, right? Men ain't got nothing but time. Why men got nothing but time? Because of the whole pregnancy thing, I guess. I don't know about that. Like, sometimes, people will be with you and they don't necessarily be with you.
Oh, well, darn.
Like, sometimes it can be based on what you have. Let's see. Way too long. 7 years. I'm not that patient, right? He was a patient ass dude, man. He took a lot of boo-boo.
Yeah.
He took a lot of boo-boo, right?
I'm not interested.
It's funny. I told that story to Miosha, right? And she said her response was, well, it worked after all. I'm like, are you kidding me? like, hey, he knew what he wanted, and he got, like, she saw it as a win. I'm like,
different strokes for different folks, I suppose.
Yeah, like, I don't know, man. I mean, my thing is, if somebody don't want you like that, you just gotta let it go, man. I don't know. Have you ever been in a situation where you wanted somebody, or vice versa, where you felt like they, they just wasn't into you like that, or you wasn't just into them, and but they really was pursuing.
Okay, so I was either pursuing or being pursued by someone who
Mhm.
was either I wasn't that into or they wasn't that into me.
Right.
People not that into me all the time. That's why I'm single. That's my answer, and I'll stick into it.
I mean, okay. You know how when people, I'm always being pursued by men I don't want. Do you want them because they pursue you, or I wonder, like, because sometimes I've seen it where people, just as a side note, I've seen it where people are into someone until they find out they're into them, and they're like, then all of a sudden it's like, they start wavering or whatever. I don't know. I don't know why people do that, but um, I don't know. A lot of us, like, we'll take it personally, right? When
You know,
someone
yeah,
rejects you. And to be honest with you, rejection ain't fun. It ain't cool. I know some of y'all in our chat room don't understand about that rejection life.
yeah. I just got a rejection in my email today
Oh, for some business stuff.
for some Mr. Corn, my favorite snack.
Oh, I know. Some of us in our chat room, they don't know about that rejection life, right? Rejection sucks, right? I mean,
I'm
you can't, you can't. You're not supposed to take it personally, right? Because people like what they like, right? But it's hard not to take it personally because they're really basically saying you're not good enough. you know, I ain't. Like they're basically telling you like the fuck off, right? You know, and
everything for everybody.
that's true. That's true. And it probably feels like a gut punch. It punches your ego. You start thinking about. You start thinking about like I don't know if you ever go through a period out there in the chat room as well where you feel like everything's going right. Like your career is going right. Everything. Every time you turn on the radio, it's your song. You know what I'm saying? You just have that run. And then you're like, then maybe you step to somebody because you're thinking, I'm on this great run, right? Then you step to somebody and they're like, nah, I'm good. And that just kills your run, like the plane. Right. I had a huge crush on a coworker this is from Nazim. When I was younger, we were super close and she was super gorgeous and got rejected because she was into women. Huge cold shower.
Wow.
you know. Um, you know, but it's hard to not take it personally.
Don't take it personal.
You know. Um, I don't know. Have you ever counseled any of your homegirls in rejection? No. Yeah, your
They
homegirls probably they're pretty fly.
always get chosen.
Huh? They always get chosen.
Chosen.
You know, there's also like I don't know if you I'm sure you've never experienced this. I'm gonna tell you what's like if you go out with a couple of your friends.
Okay.
And then there's maybe one or two of your friends are always getting the action, right? And maybe that night, maybe it's not your night, or it's never your night, or whatever,
Never
So, like if has anybody ever hung out with their homies in the club and then felt like everybody was drawn to your friends but not you? You know, uh, that's rejection.
Not really.
Yep. Wow, we're getting a lot of yes in here.
But yeah.
Yeah. So that being like sometimes you feel like an afterthought. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm.
I don't know, because sometimes us guys will do this where we'll try with girl A and then maybe not go anywhere, and then we transition to the friend. You know, like we transition sometimes, pretty rare.
Yeah.
Look at this. She's like, it happens, but rare, right? And that's got to be the worst, where they try with your homegirl or your homeboy. Well, I guess guys, we don't care.
I might be more compatible with them.
Sometimes that's what happens, though. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, how would you feel though if you're with your homegirl, or you're with your homegirl, a guy tries with your homegirl, and then like 10 minutes later, he's like, "Hey, so what's your name?"
And then he's trying with me.
Yeah, yeah. After I'm talking about after your homegirl said maybe she's taken or she's not interested or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't necessarily want to be nobody's second choice, second fiddle. That's
Doesn't work for me.
it's like, mm,
What if he didn't notice? Like, what if he just didn't notice you? I had a guy do that. He was so ridiculous. Is now part of my comedy act. So transitioning to you ain't gonna work, huh?
yeah.
Again, that doesn't work for me. Wow. So you better choose. You better choose correctly, right? Like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Choose wisely. Um,
Dating is far too complicated and ought not be.
it is. It very is. Um, Sometimes you can be in a relationship with somebody or dating somebody. I should say dating someone, and they just start showing signs of lukewarmness. Oh,
Yeah.
what's up, Alan? Alan Newman's in the house.
Hey, Alan.
Uh, they showing lukewarmness, right? And when I say lukewarmness, depends on how many beers you're in. Lukewarmness is like when somebody okay, so when you start dating somebody and they're all into you, right?
Yeah.
So they what's up, big bad Brad?
Sometimes, hey, Brad, long time no see. Sometimes you got to ask questions. I know I'm a question asker. Like, what happened? Is something going on? Did you friend zone me? Because if you did, I need to know so I can move on.
Right. Because
Stuff my face with some tacos and be dead.
sometimes it's like, all right, at first I'm all into you, and then at a certain point I'm like, I'm kind of lukewarm. So we used to text all the time, we used to talk all the time. Now it's infrequent. Now it's
Tell me about it.
And it starts to wane. So it's not 100% gone, but it's like you starting to feel. Have you ever felt that, like, where it's like, wait a minute, this is not.
Yeah, you was trying to make me your case study today.
No, I might just ask you. Have you ever felt that? I want you playing off. You're here. So, look, we got a buck. And Oprah. So,
Bobby.
And sometimes we're in denial about that stuff, right? About
things.
Huh?
I said we're in a lot of things.
Right. Sometimes they're not into you, right? So one of the reasons why I brought this up is I was talking to a friend of mine, and he's in a relationship, or now that they're not in a relationship now. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about how he started dating this girl and things were great. He really liked her. He thought, she's beautiful, smart, and all of that. And as he, started dating her, he just realized, he should stop feeling her, right? Not because she's a bad person, not because, you know, she did something wrong.
Yeah.
He just stopped feeling her.
Okay.
And he's, you know, he's a good dude, right? He doesn't want to be a jerk. So he didn't want to break up with her.
Okay.
I mean, he wanted to break up with her, but he didn't want, because he knew that she was more into him than he was. They weren't
Okay.
equally yoked in that way. So he was like, I don't know what to do. This is when they were still together. He was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I want to move on, but I don't want to be a dick.
Yeah.
So I was like, you just tell her. Try to tell her in the most positive way. You know, don't do dumb stuff to try to, you know, get out of it. Like actually communicate with her. And
That's
he just didn't want that. And I said, and don't ghost her. Don't do that, bro.
for sure.
So he said, you've got to figure that out before it gets serious. Definitely.
Absolutely. It's important. I mean, I think a lot of times people like the attention they get or the conversation that they're having or just being able to engage someone because maybe they haven't had that in a while, but they don't necessarily want a relationship.
Now, you know what he liked about the relationship?
What to say?
The adult time they spent together, if you know what I mean. He did like that.
The
He,
hanky and the hokey pokey.
yeah, he actually would have been okay with them just doing that. you know, just keep that going. You know, keep that faucet running. But he knew that he couldn't, you know, do both. So,
Trifling. Yes, the hokey pokey and the hanky.
right. So, what's up, Dante?
Hey Dante.
So, eventually, he told her that he didn't want to be in a relationship anymore.
Yeah.
And then he's telling me, right? He's like, and then she just started crying and tears was coming down her face. And she was like, what did I do? Like, did I do something? And then she started, yeah, it was like, he was telling me this, like, you know, she was like so emotional about it. And he was like, he felt so bad. He was like, you know, the girl's like crying, oh, you know. And then she was like, is there anything we can do? I'll do anything, you know. And he was like, I just don't want to be in a relationship with you no more.
Okay. So she needs to move on.
Right. And he said that was hard, you know, because he don't want to be a bad guy.
Move on.
He don't want to be a bad guy, right? So, you know, but he did it. And she still would call him like afterwards, talking about I miss you and all of that kind of stuff. And you know, so he said, dang, maybe I should block my phone. you know, just to make it easier for her.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah, I mean, she was a nice girl. I met her a couple times. She was a nice girl, but he just wasn't into her no more.
And I get that. It happens.
She wanted to run.
To talk about.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't make it a good feeling. It's awful.
So what do you like if you're in that position where you're not into somebody anymore? Not because they did anything bad, you just fell out of like with them. You know, you always hear this phrase, it's the way you say it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the way you say it. Like if I say, you know, to my girl, I don't like that shirt you wearing. Right? It's the way you say it.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if there's a nice way to tell your girl you don't like her clothes. But you know, is there a way to break up with somebody that's not jerky?
I think we should go our separate ways. It's not necessarily so much as being the jerk, but it's being honest. And the truth is gonna hurt sometimes, but the truth also heals.
She says Natasha says I've masterminded the art of the letdown. But isn't it like let's see yeah, peace out, man. Okay. I feel like women, it's a little easier for women than guys.
It's easier for women to what?
Like if y'all do it Y'all did what you did what you had to do, girl. He had to just understand and move on. But if we do it, we're jerks.
I mean, we all can be jerks.
Yeah, but I think we get way more. Even the podcast is afraid. Hilarious.
Okay.
Yeah. So you don't think that men are called jerks more for breaking up with women than?
I think sometimes it's some jerky behavior behind how it's done, but I don't really pay attention that much.
I mean, what's jerky behavior if you just literally is like, look, I ain't working out. I'm gonna go my.
A lot of people do that ghosting, so
Ghosting is jerky.
yeah.
Ghosting is jerky, but like actually having a conversation with somebody and telling them,
I'm not always mature. I said that's a mature thing to do. I'm not always mature. Sometimes I'm like, holla.
I remember a guy told me he was so done with the relationship, but he didn't want to end it. That literally, if she had came to him and said, I had an affair, he would have been so happy with it because then he could use that as the out.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, why is it hard to pull the eject button? No, I mean, it's easy. Like sometimes cheating makes it easy because a lot of times people want out and they're like, oh, you slept with somebody else? Cool, I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes when someone does something particularly bad, it makes it easy because then you can just pull the eject button. But when someone hasn't really done anything wrong and actually they've been quite awesome, the scapegoat, you cheated, right? Like I know a guy who got caught cheating in a relationship he wanted out of. And then when she found out and was kind of getting on him about cheating, he was like, okay, well, in his head, he was like, okay, I wanted out anyway. And then, but she didn't want out, even though he was cheating. So he still, had to do that, So I don't know. I think the hardest thing though is when, and it seems like it happens like this. It's always one person wants the other person more than the other. It's very rarely where they want each other equally or even like this, it's usually like a gap. And it's crazy. Like Stephanie said earlier when she was here that men want me that I don't want,
Yeah, that's real.
So I don't know. Like if people constantly are after you that necessarily you're not into, does that say something about you? Like what you're attracting?
I mean, just because you're attracting it doesn't mean it says something about you. Like I said yesterday on the live, light doesn't just attract light, it also attracts darkness.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so like you're a Christian woman, right? So I'm assume you want a Christian man. I think you said that before.
I do.
So what if like bunch of only atheist men seem to be the ones that were hitting you up? When you feel kind of, I don't know.
I have to look at my environment and things of that nature. Am I in an atheist community?
I think somebody in our chat room, I think it was maybe Natasha's, said that something like that. A guy, she found out he was an atheist, so she tapped out of that one. Once she found out.
For different folks. I mean, some people are okay with being different backgrounds and religions and things like that, but no, let me get on that.
She says, I was like, hell no, pun intended. No pun intended. I've always liked strong women. Some of them don't like guys. Like, are they lesbians? Strong women? The ones that you
are referring to?
Mm-hmm.
The ones that you make mention of?
Yeah. I think we talked about sometimes like, what's up, Gary? Gary is in the Facebook. We talked about sometimes you could be in a situation where you're not necessarily the person's cup of tea, but they're dating you. Right? But they're dating you though.
Yeah.
So it's like if you ask somebody what's their type, right? Like the thing that they like, and you don't hit none of those markers, but you're dating that person, right? They're like, you're dark skinned. They say, oh, I like light skin. Let's say you're, a taller woman. Yeah, what's up, Gary? I like shorter women. I like skinny, but you're maybe larger. And then like you like listening to, like, wait a minute, that's the answer. Why the hell are you with me?
Right.
All right.
Like
So,
Joe.
how would you feel about that? I mean, like I would, if you,
I would have some questions. I mean, obviously, but
sometimes though, what you is your type doesn't necessarily mean who you should be with though, too, though.
oh, of course not. Of course not.
Or if you look at like some, the celebrity crushes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know some people are bothered by like if the celebrity crush doesn't fit them in any kind of way. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, they're celebrity crush, so they're not gonna be like, probably ain't gonna be like us regular folk,
you regular smegular.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not regular.
No. Oh yeah, because you never get rejected.
I don't get approached. How about that?
You don't get approached to be rejected?
There you go.
I feel like, just as a side note with you, is you get approached, but you just don't count them. I think you a strange man.
I am not getting approached. I've lived in Key West for 3 years. I have not gotten approached.
You told me one time you was in the grocery store and the meat man said, "Hey."
The meat man?
Somebody in the grocery store.
I mean, people say hi all the time.
No, I'm talking about like
hi.
I'm talking about like, hey, like, hey.
He was 12.
I don't remember that part of the story. Being 12.
Yeah, he's like 21.
Okay.
I'm not trying to have no Stella getting her groove back a moment. I ain't never lost it, so I ain't got to get it back.
Oh, okay. What about online, though? You ain't get approached online? Girls have the same issues with young ones.
No, nobody approaches me online. I usually tell people I'm interested in them. They fall back.
Really?
If you do not assert yourself, I'm bored real easily. So.
I don't know, but it seems like it'd be hard to keep your attention, though.
No one's into me, so we don't even have to worry about it.
You seem like one of those hard to keep attention girls.
Nope. Love me, feed me tacos, and tell me I'm pretty. That's it. That's
it, really?
Simple.
No, then you want to be flown around the world. Yeah.
Well, not currently, no.
What's up, Aaron?
I want to be flown around anywhere.
So you low maintenance?
Pretty much. I just need a big closet and store all my stuff.
Okay. All right. We'll roll with that. I'm definitely low maintenance. So,
I should tell, but okay.
But
So what we gonna do about this not being into you? Because the obvious answer is move on. Then what?
But see, though, you don't always see that, though.
You don't see what? The signs that they're not into you?
Man, you know how many people
start having some conversations, asking some questions.
You ain't never seen a dude who keeps pursuing a girl or vice versa even. And it's all about tuning your frequencies and the universe opens up and all of that. Hold on a second. Let me.
My frequencies. What is this, a radio?
Boom.
Who said that?
Aaron. I mean, not Aaron. Gary in the chat. So. Okay, sorry about that. Somebody who's keep barking up a tree and that tree, they just don't like them like that. Like I told you about friend, the dude,
Uh-huh.
who it took him 7 years to get this girl's attention. You know, and I hate them. You know why I hate those stories? Because they give false hope to people. Like, you know, like he probably would do a lecture saying, "You hang in there with that girl.
Yeah.
It took me 7 years, but I got her."
Mm-hmm.
And then some other idiot would be like, "Okay, like 7 years is a long time."
Oh, I get it. You 7 years a dummy, but each his own.
But then again, I guess if a guy pursues you for 7 years, you know, I guess eventually, right? You got to give in. No. So the wear down method doesn't work on Shannon.
No, if I don't like you, I don't like you.
Mm.
We don't mesh well. We don't mesh well.
Well, how do you know you don't mesh well if you haven't meshed?
Hey, I can observe you from the sidelines without trying your product.
Without trying the product.
Just saying.
I don't know. How long does it take within meeting a guy for you to go, I'm good?
It's usually the first few conversations, I can tell.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes I give them an opportunity to hang themselves. And so, but no.
Speaking facts, hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
You said you give them an opportunity to hang themselves.
Yeah, of course. Because most people don't want to go deep with you.
For you.
What's up, Aaron? How you doing, man?
Man, I got a man bun today. Kind
I
of fell
see.
over, but I'm chilling. Having
Hey.
some Anheuser's.
Are you out here in LA?
I'm in a secret underground bunker fighting the novel coronavirus in a town where there's 0 affected.
Oh wow.
Nice.
Well, shoot, I should have got out with you.
Yeah, man. We dig one of them railroad tunnels or something.
You're right.
Under the ground, you know.
I'm down with that. Yeah.
Very nice.
So, we're talking about rejection today.
Welcome to my world.
Oh,
I've been rejected so many times. I love it.
You get rejected, Aaron?
Oh yeah, we have this little game we play. It's called How Hard Can You Get Your Face Slapped because you made a move.
You know, it's funny though. Like, rejection stories are obviously more funnier.
Yeah.
Years later, you know.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like you can sit with your homeboys and talk about like, oh my god, I remember when I went to the club and da da da. You know, in the moment though, it's not. It's not one of those in the moment things.
Right.
You know.
But, no, in the moment itself, you got to feel it to know it. I guess, in a way.
Have you ever had like a run of rejection? Like where it just seems like
you play this little game.
Uh-huh.
How hard can you get slapped?
Oh, so were you trying to get rejected on purpose?
In a sense, you know, back in the college days, you know, you try different things, have a little fun with life.
Oh, so you tried it. You were trying to get you weren't trying to win.
You know, when you're single, you know, and you find someone appealing, you make your move. If you get rejected, you get rejected. That's how it is. Yeah,
that's how it is. Now it's different though. Like if you're like in a nightclub and it's somebody you ain't never seen and you probably never gonna see again, it's like whatever. But if you get rejected to like someone in your church, somebody, you know, in your neighborhood or your job or somewhere where you're gonna see them after the rejection, then it changes a little bit.
Yeah.
Then it can if you got a thick enough skin, I guess.
Wow. Well, you know, some people take this stuff to heart though. Like they take it such to heart. Like, you know, it's funny. Like some dudes when they get rejected, they get like violent. or she becomes.
You know, some girls are like that too, bro. Some girls are like that too. I mean, you get a little, you know, girls aren't beyond acting. You know, I mean, this is like kind of one of my things that I talk about as far as the divine or the toxic male and feminine, and as far as the new paradigm of humans to embrace both the negative and positive of both their feminine and masculine. You know, one of them evolution things. You know how I am, Kente, about the quantum physics and enlightenment.
Right. Yeah, they call you out your name. They all of a sudden she becomes a lesbian.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the skew I like, bro. You.
Right. Yeah, that's funny though. I've seen some funny stuff, man. In my day.
Oh my gosh, there's more beer in the fridge. Can you believe it?
All right.
You.
All right. So let me give a real quick chat room shout out. I see Natasha here, Bobby, Luke, Dre, Maya, D was here, as well as Danny, Redwine, and Stephanie. And on our chat in Facebook, I see Dolores, I see Gary, Alan. I think you pronounce her name Loanne. Alan Newman, Nazim was here, and Taylor Made as well. Thank you, everybody who is watching and listening.
Appreciate you.
So, I don't know, like feelings change, I think people lose their attraction more than they gain attraction.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's kind of hard for someone to not be into you to all of a sudden kind of be into you. But then again, if you have some drastic changes, then that can change it. So like, for example, you're very overweight, you lose a lot of weight, now you got abs, you know, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you hot now, you know, or maybe you were broke and now you hit the lottery, or, you know, maybe you just have money now.
Yeah.
I used to have abs. That can definitely change the dynamic as well. But then it's like, if all of a sudden you lost a bunch of weight or whatever, and someone that was in your life before is now into you, like now they attracted to you. Mm-hmm. I mean, would you even want to mess with that person though? If something like, you know.
No, because why you want me when I was fat?
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like some people though, they be sitting there when they are quote unquote undesirable or not desirable, at least to that person. They'll be sitting there pining for that person, and they'll be in the gym like, when I get this stomach right, you know, they'll be like, Shannon gonna look at me once I get, once I get this six pack popping. They be on the treadmill and they have her picture like on the thing. I'm like, they be like,
that's way too temporal for me, Kente. That's way too temporal, way too earthly. I look for the higher realm of spirit.
That's great.
And soul, heart.
When I get my one ab back, watch out. All right. It happens, man. I've seen it happen.
No, I just seen your invite on Facebook, so I jumped in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know a lot of people watch your show on the Get Vocal. I know you simulcast.
Mm-hmm.
But I just thought, because very interesting topic today.
Thank you. I was a part of this community, right? And there was like this couple who was, they both were overweight. They were married like a long ass time. They were married for like, I want to say like 15 years or so. And then all of a sudden the wife started getting into fitness, right? And so the wife
Mhm.
lost like a gang of pounds, right? And the husband didn't. And then all of a sudden, there's a guy who was from England who was part of the group, right? The big community we were all in.
Mhm.
And he knew her then. He knew her when she was chubby. But I guess once she lost the weight, he started kicking, he started macking to her. And then she left the husband, and the dude went all the way to Houston, and they hooked up. Now they live together, right?
Mm.
So
Exactly.
she left her husband and all of that, right? So we were doing a show. I can't remember what the topic was, but it was something similar, like along those kind of lines.
Mhm.
And she saw our topic, so she was like, I want to come on the show because I've been judged about leaving my husband, and I just want to say it wasn't really about me losing weight, that it was that I just realized that I had a better connection with the other guy. It had nothing to do with the weight. It just happened that way.
Mm.
Right. And she came on the show. I'm trying to remember what that episode was. And people kind of like were cold on her, like people were kind of cold on her though, because it was like that's
a lot of dogma involved in marriage and
right.
coupling, if you will.
Right. I mean, it was like, no, that's bull. The guy knew you for years and was not into you. And then when you lost the weight, then he was like, okay, you're pretty now, or at least in his mind he was. How did she form a connection without being inappropriate? Right.
Hold on. Hey, I gotta get going, man. I got a partner here.
Okay.
I'll talk to y'all later.
Okay,
Thanks
bye.
for letting me jump on. Hope we can chat soon again. Maybe I'll get on as a guest, but thanks for letting me jump on.
All right, no problem.
I do have a story about this real quick before I go. Because people evolve so quickly. And like when you're coupling with somebody, everyone's growing and changing and evolving. And to keep pace with a partner isn't always in the best interest of one or the other partners. And so people can couple and break apart. And some people are real dogmatic about the marriage coupling scenario. So there's a lot of perspective there, but I got to get going. Thanks for letting me jump on. I hope I added to your show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. See you later, Shannon.
Peace.
Bye, Karen.
So how did they form a connection without being inappropriate? They were inappropriate. And it made everything weird in the group, because you had people who were pro him, and then you had the other guy he had his group too, and then you had her. She was the one that, and it really caused like a big thing. And that was one of the reasons why she wanted to be on our show, even though it wasn't about her specifically, but she wanted to kind of tell her story through it. And this is one that was an audio podcast only. So, I mean, I my take on it was, it's kind of jacked up, and then not only do you leave your husband, you leave him from one of his friends, so-called friends.
Yeah, that's not good.
So, and he was a jerk because that was that dude's wife, and I don't even know how you could be like friends with somebody and their wife, and then all of a sudden start pushing up on them.
I don't know.
Yeah. But anyway, so that, that was that. But I know, but you can change though, right? Because when they were both fat, he was, she loved him. I guess they were in love with each other, right? Or maybe she thought that was the best she could get. And then once she lost the weight, she was like, I could do a little better. Like I could do better now that I lost, that was me last year. This year, I'm in a different tax bracket, So, he's a good guy too. The husband, he's a real nice guy, man. So, but he was bitter too. He was very bitter about it.
It's a hard to swallow.
Yeah. And it was so funny because I remember when she hit me up when she wanted to get on the show and we had a conversation and she said, I really want to do this because I love my husband, my ex-husband, or soon to be ex-husband at the time, but he's taking this really hard and he won't talk to me. So maybe he'll listen to the show and, and maybe somehow she can reach him through that. And I'm sitting there in my head thinking, that's not going to help. It's not going to help at all. All right, Gary. I wouldn't talk to your ass either. So I don't know, man. It was kind of crazy though. Sounds like she wanted to be all about her. Yes. So yeah, but they still, her and the other guy, they still with each other up in Houston. It was funny. When I went to Houston some years back, they both were like, "Hey, you're coming to Houston, look us up." And I was like, mm-hmm. So, but yeah, it was crazy. All right, so final thoughts about this movie. You said so. Move on, right?
I mean, you should. Would be the wise thing to do.
But it ain't that easy though. You talk like it's easy.
Look, I'm about to close my computer. I'm gonna show you how easy it
is. It's not that easy, right? You meet the person you think is, all of that in the bag of chips. And some people think that they can just tweak things. If they can just move the needles and the levers and the dials a certain way, that maybe they can get the results they want.
Mm-hmm.
And they just don't accept that it's not going to happen. It's not easy, Shannon. Not everybody has the resolve you have to just cut people, to do that.
Yeah, well.
You gotta know when to give up. It's hard though.
You gotta know when to hold them and you gotta know when to fold them.
Because a lot of times when you pot committed, you already feel like you're halfway in there, even though you're probably not. Then it's like, well, do I give up or do I just continue down this path? And a lot of people choose to continue. I don't know, man. It's crazy. So I don't know. You got to know when to give up. All right. So Shannon, how can we get you on social media? Oh, side note, we are not going to be on next week, next Monday, due to the Memorial Day holiday. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that. Continue down a dead end path is annoying. All right. So Shannon, how can we get you in social media and all that good stuff?
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Shannon Ford, like the president, Jefferson, like the president. And you?
All right. And then I saw a video and I didn't see it, but I saw something about, you were talking about daddy dysfunction, the book. Is there any new news about that? Huh?
Nope. Watch it.
Okay. No, the reason why I said that was because since we're here, if there was some news that the audience needed to know.
No, if you follow me on Facebook, if you want to go to my Facebook page, that post is public. Watch it. It'll bless your life. Amen.
All right. You can follow me at Kente F on Twitter, Kente Ferguson at Instagram. And of course, the website is indyradio.org. That's indyradio.org. I'll be on for a little bit for the post chat. And then, you guys have a great rest of your week. God bless.